Go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is the afternoon indeed here in the not so sunny UK. My name is Metz Jr. and I am your host for The Spirit of Music and the Status Quo. How you doing, everybody? Still here. We are still here in lockdown number 3, and I'm not going to go too deep into it because I think we've talked about the whole COVID-19 thing over and over and over again. It's been covered worldwide. Do we need to still talk about it? I guess yes, in many senses, but right now I've got to focus on what I'm doing and I've got to focus on my industry, because right now we are at a point of no return for the music industry. We don't know where we're going, we don't know where we're heading, and many people are left wondering what is there for them in terms of help, what is there in terms of security, and the blunt answer to that for most people is very little. However, there are some beacons of hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is promise of next Monday, that's the 22nd of February, there will be a review about pubs opening. There's a review about, gatherings, and a review of lockdown coming out and all these things. But as with all of the reviews by our elected people in Parliament, we must take it with a pinch of salt and prepare for the worst, and maybe just be comfortable in what we have and try to make the most of what we have. And I want to talk to you about some of the things that I've taken advantage of that maybe you might not still be aware of. Even though we're a year down the line, new opportunities are emerging, and there are really, really, really important things I think as a musician you need to be aware of. So let's start with funding opportunities. If you've not applied for funding yet and you are a professional musician and you're in the same circumstances as me, I'm currently recording my debut album. That's been totally put on hold because I was funding that said debut album, The Sun, with the profit from my gigs. I'm not gigging anymore, so I cannot fund the album. It's been put on hold. Of course, people don't really appreciate no momentum. People want to see momentum. People want to see you building, people want to see you producing music and having music, and without the funds to do so, it can be very hard for musicians. So you need to take advantage of the funding that is available to you. There are two big funds that I think you need to be made aware of. That's the Arts Council funding, and that covers an array of practices from theatre to dance to music to playing, singing and performing and recording, and there's a huge scope of practices that they cover and consider as arts that you should be aware of. So whether you're a musician or otherwise in the arts world, you should definitely check out some of their open funds. Just to talk about one, the funds that they've recently just done. Let's have a little look here. The open funds, it is their open funds, yeah. They have a really good one that was the development and creative practice, and they help you to develop yourself and practice, and that fund goes up to £11,000. There's a lot of money that you could potentially get your hands on if you deliver a good spiel and you've got a good case. In my instance, I hope I do. I asked for a little bit less than the maximum amount to help fund my album, and I did that with the PRS fund as well. They also have an open fund, but the PRS don't just have an open fund, they have many funds that you should be aware of. The Open Fund for Music Creators is one of them, but they have Women Make Music funds, and that's just specifically for women as well. They have a variety of creativity funds available to you, especially the targeting support for black music creators. And if you're a black music creator, you should be taking full advantage of this particular grant here. There's some amazing funding going on, and they're doing several rounds. There's 1, 2, 3 rounds of hardship funding available as well, immediate hardship funds with partnerships from the Mobo Trust, Tomorrow's Warriors, Saffron, Jazz Refreshed, No Signal. This is so cool. Check out Spotify, they have got one. It is true, they actually pay artists in some way. I know they get a lot of bad press because of the amount they actually give per stream, and the way that it can be very biased towards playlisters and stuff like that. But anyway, that aside, they are doing big things for musicians and funding opportunities. So please go onto their websites, go there directly and check it out. Now, if you've missed Help Musicians, they have been doing some immense work for the arts, for the music industry. They have been working day and night tirelessly to try to help anybody who has been affected by COVID-19, and that's all musicians. I initially got help from their first fund. I missed their second fund because I didn't even know it was there. I was so gutted to have missed it, but I did in fact miss it. And then I found out about their third funding opportunity, and since then they have been funding me, and they've been topping up some of the universal credit I've been receiving. I'm not ashamed to admit that these are some of the support packages I've had to resort to as a result of COVID-19, and I know that I'm not alone. In the self-employed world, unfortunately, it has been, in terms of music, we've been left fairly choiceless than to seek help from the government and also these entities such as the Musicians Union, Help Musicians, the PRS Fund, to name a few. You've got to do it. You've got to take what you can while you can, because without it, what you're going to do? And that's not even to mention the excluded UK. I've been looking at some of the excluded UK data, and there are 3 million people still left out that were either newly self-employed or they were self-employed as a musician during the year of 2018 to 19, which was the criteria. But the year prior to that, they earned a little bit less in their self-employment than their employed work, and that renders them ineligible to claim, even though the following 3 years give them the, puts them over the 50% mark of self-employed work, i.e. if I'm a choir singer, or if I'm working an orchestra, or a singer like myself, whatever, and I 3 years ago wasn't doing great because I've just started out, but then as years have gone on, I've got better, and my paid work was about 10% of what I earn, and 90% self-employment. I was still not eligible for these grants, these last two SEISS grants that I have also been able to receive, because I was lucky enough to meet all those criteria, but 3 million people haven't, and there are still funds available, funding opportunities available for them. So please do check out on every website you can that is music related. Help Musicians, PRS funds, PRS website, the Help Musicians website. Visit the Spotify funds. I think there are some others as well I've not looked into just yet, but these are some great opportunities that you could possibly take advantage of and maybe receive funding for. And I do believe there is going to be another grant announced soon for the self-employed, and whether or not that is going to be including the currently excluded is unknown just yet. So I wait for that. I want to say that this time has been a really, really hard time for musicians. And please, look, I'll carry this small violin for as long as I need to. I don't want to come across like, it's musicians only that are being affected. Of course it's not. There are millions and millions of people that have been affected by this in a variety of ways and for a variety of reasons. But obviously, from my perspective, I need to talk about, music, because that's, of course, my background. And it's been quite depressive recently. I've got a really positive attitude for the most part, and I am doing stuff. I mean, I'm about to release a song, which I'm really excited about. I have been working to the best of my ability without being able to see my band, and without being able to promote events, without being able to perform. I've been doing what I can online and stuff, but still there is this growing pressure of feeling like we haven't done enough, and then we're not doing enough, and we're not being enough, and maybe we're not achieving enough. We can't, access certain elements to what, say for instance, rehearsal rooms, where we'd be able to have that social aspect of working together as musicians. it's been a very isolating couple of months following from Christmas. And so this has arguably been harder than any other of the lockdowns because it's been stricter, it's been cold, the weather has been down, there's been a big lack of sunlight, and people are pissed. People are angry, everyone's on edge, and so yeah, it gets the better of you. I want to point out that you're not alone when feeling down and depressed in this particular time or any other time. You know, I want you to understand that even the most brightest and spunkiest and annoyingly positive people out there, I can promise you that they're also going through these same feelings, this same process, and it's tough. Really, really tough. And there are some support networks that I want to talk about as well that you should also be aware of. It's easy to say there's support out there. It's really hard to pick up the phone. It's really hard to write a letter. If you're feeling down, the last thing you want to do is go and tell someone that you're down. But if you are down and you do tell someone, 9 times out of 10, you'll realise that was a great decision that you made because that person, whoever you spoke to, made you feel better. If you haven't got anyone you can speak to, like family or friends, about how you're feeling, then I recommend speaking to people like the Wellbeing Support that's in the Musicians Union. I'm just going to list off, and they'll be in the link as well. They'll be in the descriptions link, and they'll also be in the descriptions link on the YouTube channel, and also on the Buzzsprout channel, and in the description on my website. So you should be able to access all of these supports available on the Musicians Union website. In their health and safety and well-being section, there is mental health support, where there is advice on keeping mentally well during the coronavirus outbreak and resources that you should need should you need extra support. Here's a list of the organisations that are particularly useful to musicians during the coronavirus, and that's the Minds Matter. That's Music Minds Matter. It's a helpline, and I believe it's free. 0808 802 8008, and you can just visit their website at Music Minds Matter and you can talk to them directly there. Music Support also runs a helpline for anyone in the music industry struggling with mental health. The British Association of Performing Arts Medicine, the BAPAM, connects performing artists and musicians with free specialist health support, which I think is amazing. So that's BAPAM for as the acronym, but you should check them out. They're connecting artists with free specialists for their health. I think that's really cool. Mind are a general resource who are a contact for urgent help and support. They're also giving advice. BAATN hosts an online directory, and Black Minds Matter UK are also making mental health topics relevant and accessible for all black people in the UK. And there are a bunch of online guides as well available to you by the MITC, Guide to Anxious Relief and Self-Isolation. So make sure that you are receiving the mental health support you need during this time, because that is the Musicians Union's site, and they are there working night and day to help all musicians alike. I want to point out that help musicians are, of course, massively a part of this. And if you didn't get that number, 0808 802 8002. And if you work with music and are struggling to cope, or know someone who is, talk to them. It doesn't have to be a crisis or anything about music in general. It is there for your general well-being and support, which we all do need. Don't be scared to use them. Don't be scared to utilise all of these tools that are readily available online. And not everyone can see each other now, and having that social contact for humans, of course, is massively important. And for musicians who typically fare well in the presence of an audience, having that not having that around you is going to play a massive role in your mental health. Anyway, I don't want to drivel on too much. I just really wanted to make you aware of those funding opportunities and making you aware of also those support networks that are around. Sorry about all the noise there. I am living in a real home. And this is it. Everyone's working from home, aren't they, at the end of the day? People are working at home. People are trying to, do the best they can with what they can. And it's hard work. There's a lot of technical things involved in doing online performances. There's a lot of technical issues you face, which can, make matters even worse. And if you are working from home in the office, you've probably now got your family to deal with, and that can be a beautiful thing, and it can also be quite a frustrating thing and a very difficult thing to work around. Sometimes we've just got to make ourselves, as flexible as we can be, and just accept that a lot of these occurrences are out of our control, and it's just something that can't be helped at the moment. This is where we're at. This is what we're dealing with, and that's okay. We can move on from that as long as we can, we know that we've got that support network around us. I want to say, I don't know if I talked to you earlier about that. I can't remember. 15 minutes. I do drivel on. But I do have some amazing guests coming up. I'm super excited to be introducing those guests very soon. To name drop a few, we have a great friend of mine and lecturer, Richard March, who is famously from Pop Will Eat Itself or Bentley Rhythm Ace, and also is a great musician, bassist, lecturer, friend, to name but a few of his many talents. And he'll be joining me to talk about what he's been going through and what he's been doing during lockdown. We've had a couple of EP releases and album releases from Birmingham, which I'm super psyched to share with you. Mr. Alden Allen, who has just released his debut album. It is electrifying. He is on a different level. When I say his consciousness with music is beautiful to see. It's a great thing to finally witness coming out of Birmingham. Not that Birmingham has been lacking that, I think, but the way in which this has been delivered, I feel, has been really smart, and he's a smart guy, and he's got a lot to say. So I look forward to introducing him soon. And also Richie Culture, who released First Steps with my brother Robbie Wolvers and Robbie Melody. I'm really excited to talk with those champions at the moment. You'll know Richie from Young Culture. He was one of the co-founders along with Stevie Young, and I'll be talking to him about his First Steps EP, which is a banger, 4 absolutely sterling tunes that I had the pleasure of listening to as soon as they dropped, and I'm really excited to hear how he's been getting on. He's now a papa, and he's been living life as a dad, which is a very exciting thing indeed. And Robbie, I've had the pleasure of working alongside now for many months now, nearly a year. And he's a special human, and I'm really excited to talk to them both soon. And also, I'll be talking with John Fell from the Jazz, Funk and Soul Festival, mostly Folk Festival, of course, as well, and Lunar Festival, amongst all of the amazing events that he puts on, how he's been coping and how he's been having to work double, triple, quadruple time to reschedule, rebook events and all the rest of it. We've got a lot to talk about with all of these people, and these are just a few of the guests that I have coming up, so I'm so excited to get these next couple of weeks underway. Until then, though, I'm going to let you go, and thanks for listening and tuning in once again to me on SMSQ, the Spirit of Music and the Status Quo. Please do me a favour and share this. Do download it. Please do click the RSS feed so that you're well connected and you're updated when I do release new podcast shows. Jump on the YouTube, give it a watch if you want to see my face. If not, just watch the audio, and you can go directly to my website and you can download it straight from there. You don't need to sign up to Buzzsprout or anything like that either. So please, you can feel free to go onto any platform you want. But either way, I hope you continue on this journey. We're at episode 6 now. How exciting. Big love to everyone. This has been The Spirit of Music and the Status Quo.